So Italy and England have their Six Nations campaigns up and running. A case of job done for England, a case of what could have been probably for Italy. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Alfie. Make sure you put your comment down below. Let me know what you made of that game, the performances of both teams, and like the video as well, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I guess overall, Italy are deserving of a losing bonus point. I think even though it wasn't perfect, England did enough to control the game to be worthy of winning it, but they certainly need to kick on. I don't think it was the statement England were hoping to make. A lot of the talk in the build-up, and I know Jamie George coming in as captain made the point that he wanted England to go there and make a real statement. I don't think they've done that. And I think also it really shows the difference in quality still this year in the Six Nations between the sides at the top in Ireland and France and what we witnessed last night compared with the other teams. I'm recording this just before Wales and Scotland have played, so we'll see what they serve up. But certainly at the moment, off the evidence of 2 matches, you would still say there is a big gap that isn't going to be able to be bridged, certainly not by these 2 teams so far. But do you know what? I'm not as down on that England performance as I expect many people to be. And I am expecting the comment section to be full of a lot of negativity. And I get it to a degree. Look, it's a 3-point win away from home in Italy. People want to see bigger strides forward from this England team. The reason that I'm maybe not quite as negative is partly from what I said already. I think for large parts of the game, England did control it. They had more possession. They had more territory. It's still just an issue of what they do with that ball. But even on that side of things, I think you could start to see them try and expand their attack. Their ruck speed was actually pretty quick, certainly a lot quicker than we've seen it previously. I think we saw them looking to play more offloads than we have seen them try to do previously in attack as well. And to me, when I watched it, it looked like a team that were developing, that are trying to develop their attack. And maybe it was just a reminder that it takes time. You don't click your fingers and all of a sudden look like Ireland. It takes years to eventually get to that point, and that is where they're trying to get to. So that's the main reason really that from an England point of view, I do kind of feel like job done. It wasn't perfect at all, and maybe we can get on to some of the negatives. Defensively again, particularly in that first half for England, was a concern. Both tries, I mean, the first try, you've got Ollie Chesham streaming up out of the line, leaving a hole. They cut through it. Garbisi ends up scoring. And then the Tommaso Allen try, I don't know how they were able to have that big of an overlap. England so narrow in defence, didn't have the men there, whether it was structurally, the organisation of it, something didn't look particularly on point there. And actually in the first half generally from England, we spoke last night about France and them looking a little bit nervy, looking at them not settling into the game. I thought it was similar for England here, in particular with their discipline. Their discipline early on, I think they conceded 3 penalties pretty quickly. That just gave Italy a great foothold. It gave the Italians possession. And actually with this Italy team, we know about the fact that they're young. We know about some of the players they have in that team and what they can do with ball in hand in attack. We saw it under Kieran Crowley. We saw it again here. They are an Italy team that are able to score points on you. And if your discipline isn't right, if you do cough up the ball, if you do give them territory, they will then capitalise, which again, going back to the areas of the game that I'm pleased from an English point of view, that's why I'm pleased that England were able to dictate the pace of the game a lot of the time, and they were able to have more of the ball and play more of it in the Italian half. I think if Italy were able to get their hands on the ball more and get more of a foothold in the game, particularly as it went on, then it could have been a very, very different story. But as I say, I think there was more ambition from England. It will take time to develop. And Ethan Root's exceptional. I know he's going to get an awful lot of plaudits. I thought he was very good. Tommy Freeman as well. I thought there are a number of good performances in that England team. And as for Italy, I think, you know, they were a good team last year in the Six Nations. They had a rubbish World Cup, but there's every possibility that they will cause a number of teams trouble, I think, this year in the Six Nations. I really hope they win a game. I think another concern for England, which maybe links back to the kind of defensive frailties, was when Italy were able to get on the front foot, offset piece or first phase move, they targeted that area of George Ford and Fraser Dingwall. I think they targeted the lack of size in that England midfield, which we always knew was potentially going to be an issue. Maybe that's why we saw so many England defenders rushing up, looking to put big hits in, because we saw that a few times in the game as well, which again, you look at the defensive structures for England and you think, that's probably not what they're coaching at the moment. I think those are players doing that on their own rather than fitting into the system overall. So yeah, what did you make of it? Was it, I think for Italy as well, just to speak on the Italians a little bit more, is, and I said it at the top of the video, huge missed opportunity. 17-10 up at home, and in the second half they're held scoreless until the final play of the game when Montiuani scores. Important try, it gets them a losing bonus point, but it ultimately was a consolation score in terms of the result of the game. It's those sorts of things for Italy. We saw them in the Six Nations last year. They were close at home against France and ended up losing fairly late on. They were close against Scotland away at Murrayfield and ended up losing fairly late on. They are able to get themselves in games. It's now making that next step, I think, to being able to see them out. And that perhaps is their biggest challenge. The quality in the team isn't really up for debate. Maybe their ability to see out these games possibly is. Let me know what you make of it. These were kind of just my quick thoughts. I'll maybe do a more in-depth review of the action when I've had more time to digest it. But overall for England, it's job done. It's far from perfect. This team, with 5 uncapped players in the matchday 23, with the style of rugby that we have seen them play previously, I think our expectations are too high if we immediately thought that they would just be cutting Italy apart and it would be easy. Italy are a good side. You can start to see, I think, what England are trying to do. It's going to take time to get there. Let me know your views in the comments section. Like the video as well, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.